What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Set. His name is Shelty. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name's Swissboy. The map is Tundra, and I think that this is a Shelty home map. Maybe it's a Swissboy home map. I don't know who picked the maps. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. But they each picked their own god here. Both switching it up here. Set and Zeus. Zeus, yeah, Set and Zeus. Very different. Very reminiscent, actually, of the, what was it? The Mr. Magyar best of 7, where Magyar went Set for the majority of those games. Thank you so much, Pepe, for the tournament donation. We'll go directly to the prize pool. So much hype indeed. This is Swissboy's map. I heard it from Shelty himself, so he can't be wrong about that one. Anyways, the Zeus Set matchup, my favorite of the top tiers. Whether or not you consider Set to still be a top tier in 4.0 or not remains to be seen. I think we'll get some pretty clear evidence of it, though, in these tournament games, because all very top level players playing, and they're going to want to be abusing as much as they possibly can to get their wins. Relic has been spotted here, the Collosus of Horus, and we do also have in this corner here the Harmonia's Necklace, which is it's always a banger of a relic. Always very good. We'll see what Shelty wants to do here. The early game shenanigans that Set had an option in had been significantly hampered by 4.0, which is partly why Set has fallen down on the tier list. But the change was only really to affect the Pharaoh, in that he gets delayed on that extra damage on the villagers. He gets a 50% negative bonus against villagers before you get hands at the Pharaoh. So you can't do like 4-minute advances and shifting sands, your Pharaoh plus priest and everything else onto a bunch of villagers anymore. So we'll see what Shelty does differently here. And if he has any ideas, there's still a bunch of things you can do with Set. Like, I think his animals are really cheap. Like, you can get early Rhinoceros of Set out. You go for fast heroics or mythic ages, and they're really difficult to deal with. Swissboy, on the other hand, we'll see what he's going to be going for. He's got 9 villages on food here. So this is looking potentially like, I want to say this looks like a centaur strategy. Just because if you go this many villages on food, you're probably going to be able to advance at 4:15, or maybe probably 4:15 is about the advance time. If you go 8 villages on food, it's actually doing some strange ordering here on this getting extra gold here. So maybe it's a fast second town center, but without an early Odysseus. Never 100% sure. It might still just work out, but generally speaking, the current. Well, thank you so much, Nobit, for the $10. We'll be adding that one to the tournament as well. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome. So Swissboy going for the... Okay, there we go. He's going for an early Theseus here. Probably just to grab this relic. Collosus of Horus is very good in this matchup. So I like that one from Swissboy. A little bit of a new build going up a little bit later, but getting out the early Jason, and then we'll be able to get an Odysseus and a second town center, maybe? It might work out. I'm not sure. It needs to have maybe 5 or 6 villages on wood. Yeah, it's not sure. We'll see. And the Collosus of Horus does get picked up there by Swissboy. And he's retreating back to his temple to dump that one in. And we do see Tar coming through for Shelty, and he's already got the priests queued up here, so it's looking like this is going to be some shifting sands shenanigans if I've ever seen it. And there is the vision. It'll probably hit this location or this location. This one's actually really good to attack here if he wants to go on it. because there's nothing near it. Oh, but he does spot these villagers way out of the base. What is he doing over there? Ceasefire does come down instantly though, so that's fine. That's a really good trade there for Shelty though. Swapping his shifting sands for a ceasefire means he gets access to ancestors, so that's absolutely huge. And not only that, the ceasefire is a big reason why Zeus is super strong, because he can boom super hard, and then in the point where you want to hit him for a timing push, he casts ceasefire and then he gets everything he needs to defend against it. And we do see a bolt onto that Wadget while he's running through there. And Shelty is just searching. He could actually be able to steal these goat. At least you can try. He's trying to get out of here with the goat. I think he'll be able to do it. Oh my god. The Odysseus does pop out, and there's just too many units here. All of these goat get stolen, but okay, Shelty gives them back. He could have just taken them, but he just decided, alright, you can have them. It's a little bit too much. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Second town center is up for Swissboy. He's got these Auroch on top of it as well. Second town center for Shelty as well is up. And he's going to move forward onto the Elk now. Still gathering everything nicely. Armory's coming up for Shelty. He's got all of these Auroch to eat now. 300 food in each of them. It's effectively like 3 hippo that spawn right next to your town center. Well, actually, not even 3 hippo. It's like having 3 Aurochs you converted right next to your town center that you can eat anytime. And the Aurochs moving over here now to Shelty's other town center, because there's not a lot of food over here, whereas he's got goats that he can eat. Does he have husbandry? He does have husbandry. I like that from Shelty. Nice job. And now the Jason Odysseus shenanigans coming in here to pressure off this location here. It's funny. I think I would prefer to see set players against Zeus shifting sands these units. So build a box and then put them in here. And instead, because I think you get, well, it's 350 resources you'd steal, which is quite a bit. And also then you have to account for the extra, what's the train time on these units? 17 seconds. So it's essentially another two villages worth of train time that you get as well. So you basically kill two villages plus kill the Jason and the Odysseus if you're shifting sands the heroes of a Zeus player. So, and it also doesn't cost you any gold, but doesn't get you a ceasefire though. So all interesting, all just thinking out loud here. Nephthys coming through for Shelty. 8 minutes and 30 advance time, nice and quick. Swissboy on the other hand, still pumping out units. He's got 3 military buildings, a 4th military building. Not sure you can support this off the 2 town centers or not. I mean, you might be able to, but you'll hit the supply cap very, very early. And you kind of want to not do that a little bit, because you need to make sure you can keep filling up your population with villages. Because you're not, and when you go for 2 town centers, you're generally not playing to go for any sort of gold starve or timing attack. You might be able to get it if you hit it well enough, or if your opponent missteps, but we'll see. We will see indeed. Villager's a little bit idle here. He still has some hyena he can eat. The Gazelle of Set as well here. I do see a lot of, what's Shelty doing? Get your villagers sorted out. Auroch does is converted, and the priest sneaks right by these guys. Look at this guy go, just dodging both of those packs of units there. I thought I saw a 3rd town center coming up for Swissboy, but it's not coming up just yet. Migdol Stronghold coming down for Shelty. Giraffe of Set coming over here. Oh, still a bunch of idols here for Shelty for the longest time ever. Feels bad, man. Migdol Stronghold almost up, and then he's going to start spamming out those going for chariots here. Yeah, he's got 600 here in the bank. No second monument though. Would like to see a monument for the soldiers. Against Greek, it's always really good to get a couple of Scorpion men out, because he does, because Scorpion Men don't have, or sorry, Greek don't have a really good answer to myth units, because you make the chariot archers which snipe the heroes, and then if you have a couple of Scorpion Men, and they tank so much damage as well from any of the human units that come out. But Swissboy well on his way, has some good population here. Some good population, 112 of 120. Shelty at 89 here. And we do have to worry about this gold mine situation for Shelty, actually. He's looking for some raids now. He will hit this. Village is way out of position as the units moving in. Don't want to fight in this location here. This is too much tower fire. Too much tower fire. Got to worry about your villagers over here. Huge raid right now by Shelty onto this, picking off a bunch of units, not reacting at all. Swissboy, you have one job here. Sit on your exposed villages. Defend them with your life. Make some walls as well. We are seeing some walls now coming up for Swissboy, but Shelty's damage is done already is gigantic. Now the army is starting to look very scary. He's going to be moving forward. Hippocon on every single one of these gold mines. Gold mine has 68 gold left in it. Will be expiring any moment now. So Swissboy definitely just trying to force a defensive ancestors here. This is essentially what he's trying to do. He's drawing up a wall here as well. This is what we call a Magyar wall. For those of you playing at home, this like for somehow, some way, shape or form, Magyar would always throw up one wall against Egyptian players when he was playing Zeus or Poseidon, and always, without fail, would the ancestors get cast just in front of that wall, and then he would run way through the wall and lose no HP at all. But this is not quite up just yet, so it's not going to be too good. And the villagers are sneaking up to this gold mine over here while the army is moving forward. Villagers onto this gold mine as well. So going to two separate gold mines, I like it, but he will be spotted by this Hippocon that's sitting on that gold mine. Villagers can turn around and just fight that right now, but Shelty not paying attention just yet. Going to actually lose a villager here. A couple more Hippocon coming in. The villagers do decide to turn around and going to be trying to pick off some of these villagers who are coming in, and this is a lot of Hippocon here, but still a lot of villagers. So long as he can pick off a couple of them, he's going to be in. It's going to be a good trade for him. And now Shelty making his way forward, has a lot of units here. The chariot archers getting picked off in the back. Scorpion men staying alive for the time being. More villagers going down. The priest here will be able to pick off centaurs. Is Swissboy close to the next age? He's not close to the next age. Scorpion man here will get picked off. So nice micro there by Swissboy, not losing too many units in this fight, and still raiding these villages with his Hippocon. The chariot archers taking down the the Hippocon taking down the chariot archers in the back. Ancestors getting cast on this attack as well, going to force Swissboy away. But this does mean there's going to be no gold income for a little bit if Swissboy doesn't want to fight this one, which would be advisable, to be honest. He could move over and sneak this gold mine, but these villagers definitely will need to move away from this one. Swissboy sitting at 130 population, so he can just leave that gold mine if he wants to. We do see the chariot archers moving forward. He can move the siege tower in and try and pick off some of these military buildings. That's 5 military buildings for Swissboy. Shelty throwing down a Migdol stronghold on the face of this gold mine. The classic Age 2 technique, castle dropping. See, I know what castle dropping is. So does Shelty. Must have been playing some AoE 2, getting these ideas. This has been getting done for ages, but going to be able to secure this location with this Migdol stronghold really, really well. And the Scorpion Men, more Scorpion Men coming out now. The medium Hippocons coming back into this location. The Pharaoh empowering this as well to deal extra damage. That effectively does double damage, because doubles the arrows that come out of the Migdol stronghold, and also any units that you might want to be training. And that's a thing indeed. Now we've got Shelty mass Hippocon against mass chariots. Seems like it would go the way of the Hippocon here. It's a very even fight so far, but Swissboy is going to be getting pushed off gold if he cannot continue to defend. That's the big situation here for him, whereas Shelty is just happily mining everywhere. He's got Bowsaw and Shaft Mine. Bowsaw, for those of you playing at home, is not worth it. It effectively does nothing. I think it's like a 0.03% increase in efficiency. I think. So if you're not planning on getting an instant carpenters, you don't want to get bowsaw. Is the general gist from what I've seen. I think just the way the villager carry capacity works and stuff like that. At some point, I'll do a full rundown of it, a video of it, but it's not going to be anytime soon. It's very, very mathy, and we know how my maths works. It's not good. It's not good at all. If it's got a spreadsheet, go and find that. And I think this Migdol is attacking this stable here. So Swissboy is taking full advantage of this as well, as Shelty not paying attention. He finally decides to target back onto the units, and immediately Swissboy decides to retreat away. And now we've got Shelty grabbing his third town center, sitting in a great position here. But he is on a timer. This is something that it is a very real timer. If Swissboy can stay alive for long enough and get heroic age and get mythic age, you start pumping out those mythic age units, you can easily win this game. So Shelty needs to put the nail in the coffin here at some point. And heavy chariot spam is great and all, but with no food economy, he's got no farms, not able to spam these villages out as best as he can. And the Aurochs is here, so he will be able to get at least 800 food out of them. The chariot archers still getting taken out. I love this attack here from Swissboy. He's trading really efficiently here, and with those Toxotes in the back, really helping out quite a bit. Nice micro over here from these Supplicon. They're a little bit slow to dodge the chariot archers. Not really slow, but they're just a little bit slow. I think Shelty just needs to be thinking about getting out his cavalry here, or even maybe starting to transition into spearmen or something like that. Nice micro yet again by Swissboy, dodging those arrows there. But once these Toxotes start getting targeted, that's a lot of DPS you lose. And Shelty is, what's he sitting at? Is it 118 population, 120 population to 120 population for Swissboy? So both players in a very similar situation. And Swissboy is actually, he's playing very well in this game, and he's still alive, and he just needs to think about getting the third town center here. Vitally important for him to secure that one. Shelty is known for sneaky shenanigans, like sending some villagers down here and setting up some shenanigans. He can actually sneak through this if he goes down here and right hugs this tree and can start stealing that town center as well. But not going to happen. And Shelty is now starting to transition into those farms. 27 villages onto wood right now. 29 villages on wood. Just goes to show how heavy he's spamming wood units here with the chariot archers and the siege towers. Finally, a cavalry does get made. And the sheer purpose of making this cavalry is to run back and forth behind this Toxote line here to try and basically force the DPS to go to 0 if you can force them to target this cavalry by simply putting them in the front. But Swissboy's micro is really, really good here, making sure he's targeting these chariot archers for the most part here. And I do think that Swissboy would probably be... Actually, I don't know if Swissboy is trading well or not here, but I think he would be better off trying to be a little bit more defensive here, instead of continuously trying to push underneath this Migdol stronghold. Archery range getting targeted down as well. And now Swissboy swinging around because he knows he has to defend this gold mine. There is a gold mine over here, which is significantly safer, and I'm not sure if Shelty... Well, Shelty's spotted the entire map. His set does see the entire map at some point. Grab a villager here for some reason, Swissboy, no problem. Siege towers taking down military buildings, forcing Swissboy to rebuild them, which is definitely not something he wants to be doing here. It's going to be a 145 population Shelty army to a 119 population Swissboy army. So it's going to start being very difficult for Swissboy to win fights unless he gets that third town center, but he's just not had the resources to do so yet. Odysseus immediately, no, not immediately, liked Odysseus to immediately hit that Scorpion Man village. Is getting pulled off of this gold mine, moving over onto the town center now. More military buildings getting built up, and the cavalry are going to be targeting some of these villages left over as fodder here to see if he can sneak this gold mine for long enough. But Shelty's going to know about it. Shelty saw those villagers run over there, and I'm sure he would have spotted that one. 110%. Now, Chariot, there we go. Shelty's army is spotting the town center. Actually wants to prevent that one from going up. And if he stops this, which is looking like it's going to be pretty close, actually, it's going up very fast. Swissboy going to ult test his villagers and try and get it up, but these chariot archers do so much damage. Scorpion Man basically 3 hits a villager as well. Dionysus comes in. This is going to have to be a bronze here, I think, but it's not coming out just yet. Every single one of those villagers dies. 2,500 HP on that town center. Super close to be going up there, but it's just not going to happen. This army here from Swissboy just not being able to survive. The Scorpion Man here staying alive long enough for the Odysseus to get picked off, so he's going to be able to pick off everything. But a Hydra coming in now for Swissboy, so he's going to help out quite a bit. More villagers coming in onto this talent center to try and finish it up, and they will be able to get this one up as the rest of these units will be falling. Barracks now up for shelters. He's starting to build some of those spearmen. No upgrades on the spearmen though. And if you know me, I hate spearmen without upgrades. The first thing I ever do when I start building spearmen is I get my heavy upgrades first, because they build so fast and they die so fast. Or if you're just auto queuing them, you will end up just trading very, very inefficiently indeed. The upgrades for Shelty, very, very good. Has every single one that he can possibly get. Swissboy on the other hand, no shaft mine, no plow, or sorry, no shaft mine, no irrigation, no carpenters or bow saw. So it's the only reason Shelty is kind of surviving right now is because of how efficient he's been with these trades. There is the bronze getting these Hippocon up to 47% pierce, 37% hack armor, but there's just not that many units here. But the Hydra spam coming in absolutely huge right now for Swissboy. Pharaoh coming in though, gonna be able to pick this off super fast because he's only got 40% pierce armor. The cavalry though sneaking over onto this Pharaoh, but the Pharaoh gets garrisoned inside the siege tower. Nice play there by Shelty, but the units are back on top of this Pharaoh, and he needs to pick off these units first before he stops doing anything. There's a 3-headed Hydra, 2 3-headed Hydra there doing 60 damage per second each. Absolutely insane. 4-headed Hydra there, 80 damage per second. It is a 100% base damage increase for every head. I tell a lie, that's not 4 heads. Obviously my math is really struggling because I can't count to 3 either. It looked like it was 4, but it wasn't. Look at how much damage he does. Just absolutely destroys those units. And more Hydra getting spammed out here for Swissboy. And as he's able to defend this, he just needs to get that Odysseus to target down the Pharaoh will be absolutely huge. But he's not doing it, and he will be able to pick off the Pharaoh. He does kill it off, but that Hydra does die with 4 heads. The 4-headed Hydra, the tank Hydra does go down. Feels bad, man. But Swissboy managing to stop the bleeding there for a little bit, while Shelty is still just pumping ahead. But Horus is on the way, and that's scary for Swissboy because that's going to be this location get sieged down, and it will be absolutely brutal. And the heavy chariot picking everything else off. Siege towers chilling here for the time being. And the Hydra is taking everything out as well. And there's no priest here. Temple is coming up, so Shelty wants to be starting to build the priest in the front. Is he getting funeral rites though? Doesn't have funeral rites. These priests don't do a lot, but they will be helping out. Getting funeral rites is absolutely key whenever your opponent's making any sort of myth units. And now Swissboy is absolutely carving this up. Hopefully he is using this situation that he's creating for himself now to get ahead on the economy or catch back up on the economy. He does have Bacchanalia to give extra HP to his units. But now the priests are all out, and Swissboy's going to have to retreat a little bit here, sitting at 120 population of 145. And it's looking like Shelty's just able to hold on here. Still no funeral rites. Again, one of the first upgrades you upgrade when you've issued myth units, at least in my opinion. I'm not sure how his favor situation is sitting though. He's got 37 favor. He's got enough resources for it. Pharaoh's coming out again to help out. Comes back. And there's the Horus from Shelty. He uses an instant tornado onto this location here. Going to be able to pick this town center off, no problems. Priest here going after this Hydra, who is like two banging these chariots, 5 heads. What an insane creature. And Swissboy in this moment decides to tap out as he just cannot keep up with the production of Shelty. Loves the Hydra's there, but I just wish that instead of continuously pushing, he would have tried to get into the Mythic Age himself here, because if he got Mythic Age, he got Hephaestus, losing this town center is not the biggest deal because his units become so strong that he can prevent Shelty from ever grabbing this, and Shelty's just not going to be able to catch up on the armor before you get this town center back, and you'd be totally fine because you get the Plenty Vault as well, which is effectively, that like I've said a million times, 10 extra villages, so you're only effectively down 10 population, which in the scheme of things, if you've got super units like Myrmidons fully upgraded, it's just going to shred through everything, even if you've got 5 less of them or 3 less of them or whatever it is. Anyways, Shelty gets the win. GG takes this one 2-0. I think he's undefeated so far in this tournament, so congratulations to him. And he's going to be very happy with that win. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you are enjoying these games, please follow the Twitch channel and or subscribe to the YouTubes. And I'll see you guys very shortly for another game.